Hey nerds, welcome to the second devlog for CP payload Gavle. I think I said it right this time. Did I say it right? Gavle? Anyway, so first I'm going to go over the changelog really quick, from A1 to A2. I did a number of changes that I kind of discussed in the first devlog after the first test. So the big thing is I narrowed down last a bit, and I streamlined the routes on either side of it, especially for defenders. I found in testing that it was very difficult to get back up and around to reach, to hold the capture point when it was already pushed into. I wanted a little bit more back and forth than that. I didn't want just a really solid roll push back just to be guaranteed that attackers were going to get it. So I kind of opened things up a little bit on the sides. I actually removed a route, which I feel like makes it a little bit less convoluted. I kind of talked about how this staircase that was here before didn't quite work right, so I fixed that. The other side, I just kind of shuffled some things around, opened it up, added a tiny little bit of cover here and there. All over the map, I added some health and ammo. That was the big thing that I found out in testing, was that there just was not enough health and ammo. So all over the map, I scattered some health and ammo. I also added a little bit more cover. I was trying to make this area over here a little bit more defendable for engineers. It was closer, but still not quite right. I also added this sewer flank route, so you can come off of the spawn area over here and drops down and comes up. Some people ask for a little bit deeper water, so I figured I'd throw that in there. And the only way to get out is through here, and you're actually coming out from underneath A. And you're right here. I did this so defenders would have another way in that wasn't just this big entrance here. Before, that was the only way defenders could come in. So if attackers were holding A real strong, there's no way to get around them because they can see that very, very easily. They could have technically went down through here, but it was really convoluted. So I gave them a more direct route using that drop down. And which leads me to the other thing that I added was this platform right here. This was intended to kind of give defenders some high ground on the point, or next to the point. And it turned out very effective. In fact, far more effective than I ever imagined. I'll get to that here in a second, though. So I gave it this big ramp down here. It's a little awkward place, but it works. It does the job that it needs. And I'm trying to put a little more emphasis on the sewer area. I also raised the capture times for both the points. I found it was going way too quick. There was no chance, if there was ever a strong push, defenders would never have a chance to go back and get it. Typically for multi-stage maps, it's usually a little bit shorter capture times. This is pushing more into gorge territory for the captures. Not quite as long, I believe, but I want to try this, and if it seems like it's too much, then we'll scale it back. So let's talk about what actually happened in testing. First and foremost, the extra platform that I added, absolutely hilariously overpowered. I didn't anticipate these little tiny ledges to be so strong, but a heavy could just stand right about here, and they're just a head sticking out. A medic could hang back here and just keep that heavy up for a long time. And that's exactly what happened. The other hilarious thing was an engineer built a teleporter right here. And because of the ledge, and because of it being out of the way, it stayed up for a hilariously long time. To the point where, in one of the main tests that we did, attackers captured A, and then defenders just held that spot almost the rest of the round, where they finally got pushed back, the teleporter finally got taken out, and there just wasn't enough time to push last. So that was a big thing. I need to, for the next version, I'm just going to level this off entirely. I always considered a higher up platform that has no cover around it to kind of be anti-cover almost. Well, granted, they have the high ground. They're very exposed. They're very visible. So that's kind of the plan for that, is at least these walls here are going to go. Because I don't want another situation where it's too defendable. But that's a good thing. That means we've kind of found where it needs to be. Oh, also, forgot to mention, I also built this secondary sewer area down here where defenders, ideally, can come up and... This is what I talked about in the last one with this one-way door and come out here. Honestly, in testing, it didn't come into play a ton, but we'll see in the future. We're going to keep an eye out on this. There's not enough data, basically, for this section. It's a little weird having it come so far behind, so there's a good chance that's going to change in the future. The other issue that we found is with this new drop-down, that gives defenders way too easy of access to behind any sort of push going into B. Should have seen it coming. It's really, really obvious in retrospect. But if attackers have already taken A, there's no reason that defenders should be able to get back there. So for the next version, I'm going to definitely like block this off, put in like some kind of door here, which does run into the issue of potentially attackers making a push going into here into a dead end. So maybe I'll block this off too. But then if that's the case, then I might need to come up with some sort of creative way to either allow people out of there if they're in there when the door is shut, or kill them shortly after, which that's always funny. So I'll go that route. maybe down the road when we can detail it, that could be like they're getting flushed out or something, and I'll do a push trigger that pulls them down into it further and pushes them down a drain and drowns them or something. I always like finding creative ways to kill players on my maps. We'll give them a couple seconds of warning though, at least. And then overall, like I think the map is heading in the right direction. The big thing I do not like still, though, is this whole back area. It's very convoluted. There's too many windy paths. The box route, it's pointless. I made it too narrow and too big at the same time somehow. Although I will say the sniper spot, I went sniper here, and it was incredibly strong. Possibly too strong against Engineer because I could peek the sentry gun that was sitting there. But I think overall the sniper spot is good. I just needs a little bit of a nerf versus Engineers. Engineers in general need a buff. That's honestly my least played class as Engineer, so I'm very reactive when it comes to Engineer spots. I don't plan for them as much as I see what works and what doesn't work, and then I buff or nerf as needed. Add some ammo, add cover, remove ammo. That sort of thing is usually the two biggest ways to adjust for Engineer. So in this next version, I am very likely going to be just nuking this entire back area from orbit and rebuilding it from scratch, which I think is going to help a ton. Overall, the pathing is better. There's still, I think, defenders could be a little bit more streamlined. Like I said, Engineer needs a buff, definitely, especially for this last area. The little alcove that I had intended, that I've already tried buffing and adding cover, it's decent, but it's not quite there. I think I need to either extend out some walls or change something about it to give Engineers a little bit more cover, especially when it comes to like the building across from it. Maybe even just changing this cover here a bit. It's very easy to edge out any kind of sentry guns without exposing yourself too much, so Engineers need a little bit of a buff over here. So I think overall, the map is in a good place. For being only an A2, I think there's a lot of fun gameplay elements. There just needs to be some little fine-tuning and tweaks that are going to make it better, especially, I think, around last. Going into last, transitioning the back flank route, transitioning from the spawn to the point itself. There's a lot of high ground on the point from all directions. So if attackers manage to make a strong hold, you're just all uphill battle trying to regain any ground. And there's not a lot of ground to hold on the point itself. So I might start looking into that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it yet, but it's going to be something to consider. But yeah, so I think that's about it. We're going to make this one a little bit shorter than the last one, so I didn't have to introduce the entire map to you. We're going to keep testing, we're going to keep iterating, and we're going to see where this goes. I am actually starting a second from scratch project that I'm going to be showing off here soon. It might be a whole separate devlog series. So fans of my maps are going to be eating good. I've got a lot of really cool content coming that I am very excited to start showing off. There's teams being built. A stupid amount of work is being planned for me for the next year. We're looking into summer, Halloween, and Smithmas of 2024, possibly pushing into 2025 with some of the projects that I want to start. So that said, if you want a sneak peek on what some of those projects are going to be and what they're going to start looking like, you can join my Patreon, like Agent Maxwell and all these other fine nerds on the screen you see. You have special access on my Discord server, where I tend to post a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, what's coming up, what I'm working on. I reveal all the secrets there. So if you want to join, hit up my Patreon. I'd greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I will see you in the next video.
Killed them all? Do that!